So the next step, I have my button here, is to see how large the loops need to be. So this is the edge of my line right here, and I'm going to place my first button right on the line where it should be, and then make kind of an experimental loop around and see where that's supposed to be. And you can see here I've used a pin to mark the how far the loop sticks out, and then I'm going to use just a little bit of chalk here to mark the loop so I can figure out how long each loop is, and then I'm going to mark how wide the loop is. And then so I'm going to measure that, and that's like 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to mark all the way down here each of my little markings. So I'm going to have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops. So the next thing I'm going to do is run a line of basting along this line here so that I know how far my little loops need to stick out when I make them again. I'm just going to stick a pin to mark that while I run my line of basting. So these are important marks. One of the sets of instructions has you making it on paper if you're going to be making non-continuous loops. I'm going to be making continuous loops, so this will squiggle back and forth to make a bunch of loops. But if they're kind of widely spaced out, then you would cut each individual loop into a single loop of cording instead of having it all be in one piece together. So we have our cording depth marked out there, and the next thing I'm going to do is start pinning the cording to the cuff. Like so. So once I've got all of that pinned all the way down, I'm going to run a line of machine or hand basting to hold it all in place. So you can see here, I have not only hand basted these loops, that's the brown, but I've also machine basted them on with a size 5 stitch inside the stitching line so I can pull it out later. The basting is important because the next step is I'm going to actually stitch the cuff together, and I need the basting to hold the loops in place while I stitch around this cuff and then turn it right side out. Okay, as you can see here, I have basted the facing of the cuff to the cuff. The right sides are on the inside. You can see a little bit of the loop right there, and I'm going to stitch this in the machine. Now you turn the whole cuff, and magically your loops appear on the outside. And I'm going to go press it, and I'll show you the finished product. So you can see the finished product here. If this were an actual closing cuff, this is the line on which the buttons would be.